Live on. Hello guys, we're just coming up to the end of best song ever for those that are listening. There's Terry over there. Wave, Terry. You're on Periscope now. Terry's waving.
I am.
And Nick from the college is still here. This is what happens when you do two things at once. There we go. He's sending love hearts at me. There we go. Please join us. And 10 seconds.
On me.
2, 1. And welcome back to Secular Sounds. I'm Dave Stimson. This is... I'm not actually. I'm going to stop that because I keep getting pulled up by my wife. I'm David Stimson. So if you're listening, that's my name. If you're not listening, Karen, why? This is Transition. In the studio with me today is Nick from Milton Keynes College. With some very interesting insights about the workplace and what's needed to get there and the changes that are coming up. And their very own, of course. Shall I?
Go on, why not?
You know, he wouldn't come in if I didn't play that for him. And our very own Terry Collins talking about how life was when he left school and he went into the mechanics world, servicing, what was it, brontosaurus, stegosauruses, was it those sort of trucks?
No, it was AECs, through and through. Mark 3 AECs and Mark 5 AECs.
What sort of dinosaur was that?
Oh, just the best dinosaur.
Oh, I know, no, it was the one with the big front, the little cab at the back and the wheel at the side, the puffed down stick.
No, it's phones. You've heard of the Route Master?
I have.
That's an AEC.
Oh, there we go. Right. Terry Collins, the man of... Actually, I'm not going to knock you, Terry, because your backstory is fantastic. I mean, it really is amazing. For those of you who don't know sort of Terry's history, Terry, do you want to...
Not really.
My phone just fell over.
Yeah.
For those of you on Periscope, I'm really sorry that you're just head-butted the desk. Never mind. I'll get back to it in a minute. Up Periscope, Terry, please. I like it, but please.
Wow. It's that sort of show, isn't it?
It does sometimes. Look, it's been very professional up to now. We've been doing very, very well.
You just want me to lower the tone, that's all.
I've already done that by dropping me. It was working perfectly right. There we go. Apologies for you guys on Periscope. I didn't really mean to throw you on the desk. There are a few of you. So please wave and, send us the hearts. Equally, feel free to tweet us on @TransitionSound or through the Secular Sounds site itself, as Terry pointed out, by the way. Oh, look. Hello, Mr. Tully. He is actually watching us. That's quite scary. I'm sorry if you headbutted the desk. Right. So, where were we? Yes, Terry. So your route to employment was markedly different, although not significantly different to what we're saying needs to come back. Is that kind of where we are now?
I think it was different in the way that there was jobs everywhere. I mean, you could literally walk out of one job into another, no problem whatsoever. And they were high quality jobs. I mean, the world has changed. It's not like that anymore. When I left school, you didn't have to have a certain set of skills. You just went into a job. They didn't ask you whether you got A-levels or O-levels. As long as you do the job. And obviously now it's so different, quite rightly. When there's plentiful, jobs are plentiful, nothing ever happens to change. But I actually did my degree when I was 34. Because I realised, that I wanted more of an education.
Yeah, we encourage people to do that.
Yeah.
Open University, you led the way really in the 1960s with getting people to take degrees who previously would have not gone at 18, traditional age when people went off to do a degree. Fantastic success story and exported around the world. And we need to encourage people to do that sort of thing, take degrees, do courses, keep learning. I mean, learning's a good thing in itself.
You never stop.
Exactly. We learn all the time.
Continuous professional development. I'm back now. I've just been, for those of you who wonder why I've been so quiet.
That's all right, we've done all right without you. Don't worry.
I know. I do know. I know I'm not needed. I just sit here and press buttons, really. And I don't do that right half the time. For those of you on Periscope, you shouldn't be quite so dizzy anymore. I think, massive value points. One thing that concerns me with the drive towards apprenticeships, are we just plain cyclic job hunt here? We spent 5 years pushing people to uni.
Yeah.
When I left school, it was a big push to get into the construction industry because we were struggling.
Yeah. Shouldn't
we be looking for a very uneven playing field, really?
Well, I think that's partly behind the move in a sense. And what the government have done is they're going to legislate to make apprenticeship a sort of protected term in the same way as a degree is, so to try and give it more value. One of the things we've struggled with over the last 50 years, really 60 years, is creating in the jargon, is parity of esteem between vocational education and academic education. In the 1944 Butler Act, going back that far, the intention was to create a dual system of technical and academic education. And somewhere along the way, the academic route just gained so much precedence and was valued so much more, and there's all sorts of theories about why that might be the case. It might be to do with the way that policymakers in Whitehall, because we're such a centralised country, have always seen what's valuable in education is what they went through and what their children are going through, which is overwhelmingly academic. And it's meant that our technical skills have been eroded, quite frankly. So that the structure of our economy now means we're chucking out quite good professional jobs at the top, which need degrees, good quality degrees, etc. And lots of what I might call entry-level jobs, low-skilled jobs at the bottom.
Yeah, nothing in between.
And nothing in between. So the sorts of jobs that Terry was talking about, which were in more plentiful supply arguably in the past, have been eroded. And they're exactly the jobs that we need to create if we're going to deal with our productivity problem and if we're going to rebalance our economy. And people recognise that. But how do you get there? What is it you do? And I think part of the what is it you do the government have come up with is to say, well, actually, let's try and create more apprenticeships. Now, the other side of the coin for this, of course, is that there is less public funding. The college sector has been cut, certainly in terms of adult skills, by 50% since 2010. So we have half the money we used to have.
To do twice as much.
Because the need has grown. We've also seen cuts in 16 to 18 funding. So there's a lot less. And what the government are asking people to do is to dig into their own pockets. That's whether you're an individual, and they've set up loan schemes to help you do that. And there'll be more of those, I think, coming down the track for broader ranges of qualifications. And they've asked employers to spend more. And that's why they've introduced an apprenticeship levy for big companies to pay, because they're running out of patience with companies to put more money on the table. So they're going to try and get more money that way and put it through an apprenticeship system that will mean that, in a sense, employers have some skin in the game and can quite rightly say, well, we want some of that money back, so we'll take on some more apprentices.
Well, it's in their own interest, isn't it? It's investing in an apprentice is the same as investing in a new piece of machinery or a new CAD program or anything, really. We are a resource, aren't we?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and increasingly, the knowledge that creates growth is held between the ears of individuals rather than in the quality of the equipment. So, if you look at the amount that people and firms have been investing in what are called intangibles, which isn't kit, hardware, it's now twice as much as hardware. And part of that is, the investment you make in your human capital, to use a term, in people. But we're not investing enough, and we're not investing in the right ways, and we're not investing in the right types of approaches. So that rebalancing is absolutely essential if we're going to deal with the productivity gap I've talked about, and if we're going to create more meaningful jobs for people who go into vocational education. And for many young people, they are not getting the information, advice and guidance. And I know I come from a college, so you could say, well, I would say this anyway, but it happens to be true.
Oh, it's true. I mean, I was shocked to find it's something like 5 minutes careers advice that they get in those final years. I mean, that's ridiculous.
And the trouble is, of course, go back to your point about incentives in the system. Schools are incentivised to keep their 16-year-olds and put them through A-level programmes, certainly Milton Keynes, and it might not be the right option for them. So we get at the college 3 times as many 17-year-olds as the average college would get, because they've started A-level programmes, found it's not for them, they're not doing the course they really want to do, they'll come to us and they'll switch to a vocational course, which they should have been on in the first place, arguably should have been on from the age of 14, let alone 16.
I would really like to see that, actually.
Yeah,
there are some, aren't there, but there's not enough.
Yes, I mean, we take some 14-year-olds, we would look to expand, but you know, the University Technical College that have been being set up is an attempt to address that issue as well, how you get more vocational education. But because we have this constriction really around GCSEs and what you have to do there, we make our young people matriculate twice now, once at 16 and then at 18. That doesn't make any sense. Even the outgoing head of the CBI, John Cridland, has said we need to get rid of GCSEs. What's the point of having them if people are staying on till 18? You know, in most other developed economies, you graduate at 18 with a set of outputs, points, or whatever it might be, that allow you then to transition onto the next stage in life, whether that's work, an apprenticeship, or a higher or further education.
Mm-hmm. I think that's Terry.
Yes.
Was sixth forms were around, but they were more of a college-based thing when you left school, I'm taking it. We had polytechs, we had colleges and
I actually don't remember if there was a sixth form. There wasn't in my school. That's not to say there weren't, because my brother, I went to what they call a secondary modern.
Yeah.
My brother went to what's the other one?
Comprehensive?
Grammar school.
Grammar school.
Grammar school.
Just before the comprehensive, that all came in a little bit after, but he got more opportunities with the school he went to than we did. We were, the school we was in was more like what I'd call a basic set of skills, and we were sort of pruned, if you want the right word, or groomed to actually go to work.
Yeah, but I think...
Whereas the grammar schools were groomed more for extra activities.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. No, and we still do that today, don't we? But we've wrapped it all up in together.
Yeah, I think the confusion comes that just over time, as your point earlier, we had this big focus on getting people to university. People to get to university saw A-levels as the route to do that. So there was a huge incentive for people to take A-levels and stay on in sixth forms to do that. So we've increased the number of young people doing degrees, which is great. We've yet to really see that flow through in terms of what's called the graduate premium, which certainly used to exist, but it will still
I'm not
exist.
sure it exists now.
Well, I think that's a good question.
Definitely not in all industries.
Certainly not in all.
Definitely can be.
Absolutely right. And so getting a balance in your education system where, of course, it doesn't really... I mean, employers aren't really bothered, actually, when you push them about the name of the qualification. They will be interested in the institution you've gone to. So creating a very high-quality experience that then feeds through into the experience of employers is important. But they're quite sanguine, many of them, about the type of qualification. What they want is the right skills, and they want people with the right attitudes. And that's absolutely critical. And we have got too many people, I think, doing academic courses who would be better off doing more vocational courses. It's good for them, it's good for the employers, and it's good for the country, because that's where we're going to rebalance growth.
It's kind of sad, isn't it, when you look at some people that are in a classroom and they're doing the academic stuff, they have no choice. And it's hard, and they're failing, and we've done various things about confidence and stuff on the show in the past, and we keep coming back to the same sort of things. It's, if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it's always going to fail, isn't it? And ultimately we do that with some of the students out there, and they could, go into an engineering place or a workplace or any of the other non-academic trades and be absolutely top class, but we don't judge people on that so much as we used to.
And that's the problem, that those judgments we're making about people's intelligences, and there's some very interesting research about the different types of intelligence everybody has. So we judge a very narrow range of intelligences often through the school system, the so-called academic intelligence, but there's spatial intelligence, there's kinetic intelligence, there's musical intelligence, there's all sorts of different types of aptitudes that people have.
If you look at my two, my eldest son has a complete affinity with the machines. I mean, he always has that.
Yeah.
He can take things apart and put them back together again, which is the plus. I can take them apart, no hassle. But he can look at something and he can pretty much go, that's not quite right. And he knows that just inherently.
Yeah.
Where he's got it from, who knows. The youngest one, on the other hand, has no interest in anything like that at all, but his people skills are phenomenal. In 30 seconds, it's a plus and a minus, really. In 30 seconds, you can walk through the door, he's got you completely sussed.
Yeah.
The downside is, of course, he knows which buttons to press to get what he wants, and he can also wind you up at the drop of a hat. But while I want to sort of squash that skill out of him a little bit, it's not a bad one to have. I mean, to be able to assess people on an empathic rate, probably, that's the sort of level we're talking. And it's brilliant to watch it do.
Well, there are some tests for all those sorts of aptitudes now, and they're very interesting, the results that come from them. And it's also well known that it's not the case that people who are most academically brilliant necessarily will have the most successful careers, most successful lives. Quite the opposite can be the case. In fact, there's a very interesting piece of research done in California by an academic in one of the big institutions there, and he tracked, I think it was in the 1960s, 1970s, and he tracked geniuses, child geniuses.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty confident that the IQ test was going to determine that they would be at the top of the tree wherever they chose to go.
Yeah.
And what he actually found was that they had exactly the same distribution as the ordinary population in terms of where they ended up in life. Some indeed were hugely successful, but others were unemployed. And the range of skills you need, going back to the point about the rounded person, is really important. It's not just about a narrow set of academic aptitudes that allow you to do X. It will be for some professions, of course it will. If you're going to be a research physicist,
there's got to be,
being good at physics and understanding that is pretty important.
But in the same way, if you're going to be a mechanic, knowing how a spanner works is equally as important, isn't it?
Absolutely. And I think it's valuing those skills, those aptitudes, as much as we value cognitive academic skills, is part of the equation, if you like, to getting us to where we want to get to go. And it's going to be a long haul because these are culturally embedded attitudes.
Well, it's got to be a permanent change as well.
We see all the time. We talk to parents, and of course they're thinking, well, surely they should be doing 3 A levels. And we'll say, well, of course they can do 3, but actually, what is it they want to end up doing? And
they're a phenomenally qualified physics, engineer, and they know their way around the inside of a laboratory. But they really, really wanted to be a ballet dancer. Bus drivers. I'll tell you what. Do you know how much bus drivers earn? If you're a bus driver in Milton Keynes, feel free to correct me. But it's like 30 grand.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not bad money.
It's not bad, but it's an important job, isn't it?
Well, massively.
The reason I've said bus drivers is because there's a garage in Essex, a bus garage in Essex.
Yeah.
Every driver has got a degree.
And
that's what they've chosen to do.
I mean, that says something, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So you pay, interesting, while we were talking about the degree uplift, would you pay more for a bus ticket driven by somebody with a degree?
Well, that's a good question. I'm not sure I would, actually.
In driving,
yes.
Having been on a bus through Milton Keynes lately, which was an experience because I haven't done public transport for years.
There's bus drivers and bus drivers.
There are bus drivers. Yeah. I mean, I would imagine the bus driver I had was phenomenally good because how you could throw a bus around that much and have that many people falling off the chairs and not crash. I mean, I think it's one you knew. I'm sure he was drifting the buses, Terry. I really... Terry,
yes.
We're talking about aptitude and that we need to redo it. In your day, and I'm not saying that you're old, Terry, but, it's either you or me, and I'm the one playing with the dials, so you get to be the one that's old.
I don't want to be.
We're saying that we didn't necessarily look at aptitude so much in the past. Do you think when you came into the workplace that you were assessed? I know when I was in the electrical field, there was definite, some of us got other opportunities that people didn't. We got better contracts. Did you see that in your workplace?
Yeah, I mean, it's like you've always got a mentor wherever you go, and I was stuck with a bloke who I thought the world of. And he used to say some things to me that I can't repeat on the radio.
No, you can't.
But, at the end of the day, it did bring more opportunities because I ended up owning a haulage company, which was 2 years after I finished my apprenticeship.
I didn't realise it was that soon.
Yeah, 2 years.
Wow.
But I had a garage before that, I more or less left my apprenticeship, opened up my own commercial vehicle garage, because I've been doing private work while I was an apprentice. And being close to Tilbury Docks, all the container boys down there, they're all owner drivers or...
It's interesting, yeah.
And I was very apt to doing it.
So how old were you when you got your first garage?
21.
Now, there's something for you to consider if you are still not sure about your career. Terry had, I know it's different times, but it's still doable, isn't it? In fact, one of my son's friends actually owned his own garage, and he would be about that age when he took it on. So at 21, you opened your own garage.
Yeah.
To put that in context to those who are going on to do degrees, to really make us think, do you want to do your degree? You will just be leaving uni.
Yes.
And some people out there will have their own budding. I mean, actually, their own budding business. I'm saying that. I know a 16-year-old who has a fully functioning business. The days we're in now allow for that.
I mean, there's no age limit on people starting businesses. In fact, it's one of the things that we really encourage our students who are interested to understand how to build a business. What are the steps you need to take? What are the support you need? If you've got a great idea, great businesses come from the passion of the individuals to do something different.
Yeah.
That's what it is. But business is not... People don't sit there and go, I want to make a load of money. If you do,
No.
they tend to start with, I've got this really great idea and I want to make it work. And I want other people to see it. And it's that passion that you want to tap in. If an education institution is anything, it's about how it can create the opportunities for passion to flourish. Because that drives, along with talent, your likely outcomes in life.
Passion is, I know you do the enterprise program at the college.
Yeah.
I'm a huge part of Young Enterprise with Milton Keynes. I sit on the board and I get massively involved where I can. And that's exactly that, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Creating that passion.
Our learning disabled students, foundation learning students, they've got flower businesses, we've got cake making business. This is a really important thing and aspect of education. And encouraging young people to be entrepreneurial is really just encouraging them to, talk about what it is they love in life.
Yeah, don't you think we've got wrapped up by this word entrepreneurial?
Well, I think, it's become a piece of jargon.
It has. There's no such... It's a way to describe a certain person. You can't go and qualify as an entrepreneur. I think you can be influenced. You can learn.
Yeah, you can learn how to build a business. You can learn how to access the sort of expert advice you're going to need around finances, around marketing yourself, around creating a brand, about whatever the business might be. That's what you learn.
That's my business.
That's
exactly what I do out now. I advise
there we are.
business and everything else. So thank you for that.
Good.
Come on next week.
But it's critical because that latent ability to start something and grow from it, and then that growth creates employment opportunities. It creates money into a local economy, etc., etc. That's really, really important.
Well, that's the way forward. Terry, you have to take risks in business, don't you?
Yes, definitely.
I wasn't targeting you because I know you've had
I've taken
businesses.
many risks in my own house, which everybody tells you not to. I put my own house on the line 3 times now.
Still got it?
For a business. Well, I've got a different one. But yeah, I think if you're not going to make it, you have to take risks. If you're not going to take risks, you won't make it.
True.
I think, it depends on what risk you're talking about, but generally you have to take risks. You might have to take that. One of the biggest things that I ever missed out on, because I didn't take a risk, was bottled water. I got asked to supply the vans to a bloke who was bringing bottled water, and I thought,
Yeah.
Anyway, decided no, look at bottled water now. It's everywhere.
Yeah, it
and
is.
There's thousands of firms delivering it. I would have been the first.
You just hindsight's always 20/20.
Well, yeah, but that's the only time I've never taken a risk. And all it needed was 3 vans, and I didn't take it. There you go. But yes, you have to take risks. But I'd just like to say one thing that, through doing what I did was great. But I still think there's a massive amount of room for a degree. But I feel you should do it later.
I completely agree with that.
Because I did mine at 34, which was a bit old, too old. But I think by sort of 25, maybe.
Yeah, 4 or 5 years, maybe 10
do
life
it,
experience.
take 5 or 6 years at work, know what you want to do. That's the important thing, because you don't know at 16, you don't know at 18 what you really want to do.
I don't know what I want to do now, if I'm honest. I know what I'm doing, but is it what I want to do? I'll find out next week.
Look at what I do now. It's nothing compared to what I used to do, but you grow into it.
Nick, just quickly before we don't have too much time. That's right, Terry. How do people contact you at the college if they want to come and join in? I mean, we all know where you are, but how do they get hold of you?
Pop onto the website, www.mkcollege.ac.uk, and all the information will be there. We have, or give us a call. Again, information probably best on going through the website, because most people have some idea of what they think they want to do. We'll be running an advisory day on the 16th of September.
Okay, get that in your diary, 16th of September.
But you can come in any time. If you want to come in person, not a problem, just drop in. We've got the 2 major campuses, one in Saffron Way near Leadenhall, and the other one opposite Bletchley train station in Bletchley. Our reception staff will welcome you with open arms, and we can get someone down to talk to you about whatever it is you're interested in, or even if you're not really sure, talk you through the various options. And then you'll be able to almost certainly enrol that day if you've got the right qualifications.
I must admit,
get it.
you've really, I've been involved on the fringes of involvement in the college, I suppose, for a number of years now. And there's a real marked change in how you do business. It's very much, at one point I suppose it was like an extended school. That's the impression I got from it. And now it's very much business, and everything with it is very professional and very polished. Your networking events that you run are absolutely fantastic. I mean, they really are good.
Good.
So it works.
Yeah.
You're getting the right.
Well, what we're trying to model for students is the workplace.
Yeah.
They come to learn with us on the whole, vocational areas, and those vocational areas lead to jobs in particular sectors, and that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
That's what I'm waving to Periscope.
Oh, you're waving to Periscope. Oh, I've created a monster. Hang on.
Just keeping myself busy.
Terry, I tell you, hang on. Those of you looking at Periscope, let's right. Okay, Terry, on your marks. You ready?
Yeah.
Now you wave at Periscope, and I'll play your track for you.
Go on.
Okay, ready? Keep waving. There you go. Those listening on Periscope, that was a little treat for you. Did you go and find that last week, Terry?
What was that?
I told you a time code to go and look at it because you said you hadn't heard it.
No. I've been. Well, my wife's just come out of hospital.
I spend hours, days, thousands of. I spend 10 minutes cobbling together, and you don't even listen to it. Nick.
Yes.
If people go off to uni,
indeed,
they decide they don't like it by Christmas, can they come to you?
Yes, of course they can, and we do get a lot of people who change their minds and want to do something different. We run higher education courses as well in a range of different subjects. We'll be expanding those subjects over the next few years as well, up to what in the jargon is called level 5, i.e. the first 2 years of an undergraduate degree.
Okay.
And then what will typically happen is that could be fine, you've got a qualification at that point, but you can go on and top it up with an extra year at one of the universities that will accept you for their purposes, and we've got great relationships with the University of Bedfordshire, University of Northampton, De Montfort University. We're building relationships with University of Derby, actually even down as far as the University of Solent in Southampton, where we have a link with our sports science provision. So there's any number of ways in which you can get to where you want to get to. And I think the point is just come and talk to us, because we can then advise you, we if necessary, we can assess you, and we can help plot that route through. And going back to Terry's point about people not necessarily knowing where they want to go, that's absolutely true. Of course, there's lots of people that do actually, and that's fine, and they will go off and they'll do effectively either a degree that leads to an academic, to a high-level apprenticeship. That's what happens with medicine, it's what happens with lawyers, it happens with accountants. And if you know that's what you want to do, again at the college you can come study accounting with us, you can study health and social care, You can study law A level with us.
It's a huge range.
There's a massive range of opportunities there. And the key thing is, going back to your point about how we are, what our culture's like, is we're not school. We're not trying to be school. We are trying to be much closer to what you find within both the university and the workplace. And that hybridity, if you like, young people aged 16 to 24 really respond well to. They like being treated as adults, as citizens. And that's an important part of, in a sense.
Nick, I'm going to have to cut you off. I'll tell you what, I'll have you on again. I've been David Stimson. This is Transition, and we will see you next week.
That's what it does to you, cut you off.
Sorry?
Literally nearly cut you off.
That happens to me all the time.
Happens to me all the time, well. Only here.
Yeah. Good.
That was brilliant. I'll have you on any time you like it. One thing I didn't say, but I will say, is once someone's been a guest on the show, you're always welcome.
Sure.
So you don't need to tell me you're coming. If you've got something you want to get on air, if you want to just, if you're passing, ring the doorbell, come into the studio. So in reality, I never actually know who I'm going to get. That's the theory anyway. Brilliant. But I think that was, I mean, you can tell a good show because we only played 2 tracks.
Yeah. Well, there we go. Good stuff.
Nice
to be here. Nice to meet you guys.
Goodbye, Periscopers. We'll see you next week.
See you soon.